out. Moving on to the next one, we've got the Marshall Thundering Herd, who finished up the season with a victory in order to get to a bowl game, just as ODU did. Finished up the season 6-6, going on to face UTSA, who comes in with an 8-4 record in the, and this was obviously a bowl change name-wise, again, Scooters Coffee Frisco Bowl. This game, yeah, it really is. Like, it doesn't roll off the tongue at all. This game follows Monday's game, as it's going to be on Tuesday, December 19th. This one's going to be a 9 p.m. Eastern start, so a late one. But it is down there in Texas, so locally it won't be too bad, but it'll be a little late for the Herd fans. Do you think they stay up because they're in this one, or do you see UTSA rolling?
I don't know, man. It's hard to say because, like I said, competition-wise, I mean, I'm just looking now at their, at who they play. They beat Temple. They beat UAB, FAU, East Carolina. That's not saying much. North Texas, not saying much. Rice, South Florida. I mean, the teams that they beat outside of Texas State and UAB, I really don't have a ton of, I don't want to say respect for, but like I'm not impressed, right? And then they lost to Army. And obviously they're going to lose to Tennessee and lost to Houston. So the game against Houston was pretty close. Strength of schedule wise, I don't see it being all that different than Marshall's. Sure. But given the way Marshall's performed, I can't. My football mind tells me to pick UTSA by 3.
Yeah. Well, I think the big factor, and I'm sure you're familiar there with Frank Harris, as he's pictured here, the 17th year senior, I feel like. Been there forever. But when I heard he was coming back, I really expected UTSA to be a very good team this year. I knew I believe this is their first year in the American, if I'm not mistaken. I think they won Conference USA. They played Troy last year in the bowl game, and they were actually, I believe, favored in that game. Obviously, Troy ended up winning that bowl game. But yeah, it was a great game. It was a defensive battle, which was crazy because coming in, UTSA was scoring all kinds of points. And Troy was kind of scoring a little bit better, I think, towards the end of the year. But they struggled to score a lot of points, but won a tight defensive battle. I don't see a defensive battle happening here in this one. I think, and you can tell me if you feel like this is true too. I feel like the teams that play closer to the last week of the regular season or championship week tend to do a little bit better offensively than the teams that are off until like after Christmas, right? I mean, do you kind of feel that that's how it goes most years?
Yeah, for sure. I agree 100%.
Too long of a layoff. I mean, it's just like you said, with the running backs getting into a groove, you're just not in a groove at that point anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to take a break from football and then come back and play football. That's a sport you got to play. As painful as it is to play every week, and taking a break from it is even harder, unless it's just a bye week.
Yeah, because then you can kind of rest up and get better. But yeah, Dr. Harris in his final 6-year, go Herd, beat the Roadrunners. That's what Artie's saying there. Troy seems to think he's a Roadrunners. Either he's a fan or he just thinks they're going to win. He says Roadrunners beat deep. Yeah, interesting enough. As we saw Dylan mention earlier, Fancher is out at Marshall as he's entered the portal. So I guess I had expected Fancher to be the guy going into this one because he kind of looked a little bit better towards the end of the season, and he looked good early in the season. And then in the middle, I think what I hear, again, okay, I don't see all this stuff, but apparently the fan base was kind of hard on him. At least if Coach Huff's statement today that came out is accurate, which I don't know why he'd lie. So apparently the fans are pretty tough on him for some struggles, which is not fun to hear for any reason. But hopefully he gets into a better situation for himself. And then you've got Cole Pennington, who's going to try and come in and do what his dad's kind of done in years past at Marshall and maybe get himself an NFL look. It's way too early to say that now.
Yeah, I was going to say way early. Let's slow down.
Yeah, no. Well, you have to mention it because of the namesake, right? But sure. I mean, he hasn't performed to that kind of level whatsoever yet. But he's also very early in his career, and I'm assuming he will be the starter going into this one. But he's got to really improve that touchdown to interception ratio because that hasn't been great to start with. When you watch the play, it's not as bad as it kind of looks statistically to me. right? I mean, not every interception is always on the quarterback, TJ. We know that. Wide receivers fumble it into the air and somebody picks it off or
run the wrong route like I did against Michigan.
Never. You never did that.
No, not ever.
Oh man. Well, the fake TJ, I'm just kidding, TJ Chapman. He says, hopefully Marshall doesn't try and use Acme football against the runner. That would be. I like that joke. I like that joke.
Quality dad joke.
Yes, I was gonna say exactly. And TJ is a dad, father. So yeah, definitely has some experience in the dad joke realm. Chad Penny's son is playing QB. Yeah. I mean, I'm definitely pulling for the herd. I have no reason to hate UTSA, but I have no reason to like them. So I ain't gonna like them.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, again, I don't hate Marshall. I'm not. Only reason I'm not picking them is because I just don't. I'm not confident. I cannot be confident in the team who, in my opinion, has lost some confidence in themselves, to be quite honest. So yeah, they started out the season super tough. I mean, we thought they were going to be, great coming into this year, and then it just went all to hell. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I mean, they start off the season, just to reiterate that, they start off the season, 4-0.
Yeah.
I went to go see the game against NC State. You almost went there. We almost met up for that one.
Right, yeah.
It was a great game. I mean, there was no reason to think Marshall wasn't going to rebound the very next week and take out Georgia State, but they did not. They lost 41-24, and that started the massive downturn where they went on a 5-game skid before rebounding for a win-loss win finish on the season and beating Arkansas State kind of impressively there in that last game. But yeah, I mean, it's tale of two teams here. So we will have to see who comes out here. But yeah, I mean, if I'm putting money on it, which I'm not, I'm putting it on the Roadrunners at this point, but I'd love to be wrong and see them take those guys down. Artie thinks that put a spine on Harris and force him to throw and shut down the run. Yeah, I mean, the bad part is he can beat you a multitude of ways. So they're going to have to do a couple things to keep him from running rampant, both figuratively and literally.